It's now time for our post-game interview with the head coach, Nick Hill, which is presented by Sam C. Mitchell and Associates. As Coach Hill joins us, thankfully, after all the fireworks have been done, and one, he can hear us, and we'll be able to hear him as well. Coach Hill, you never apologize for winning, brother. It wasn't easy. It was never moments where you felt like you really had the game fully in control until the very, very end. But what an effort, especially by your defense there, Coach Hill, late in the game to put this one away.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, you're never going to take winning for granted. That's number one. That's what I told our guys. And, early in the season, you got to find ways to win. You got to find, ways to get better. And adversity, we didn't play at our best tonight. But this team still has to prove what its best is. And we found a way to win. I felt like, we had an opportunity to really close it out in the second half, but offensively we weren't able to do that. I felt like the defense's intensity in the second half, the turnovers they gave us, I mean, we were down there twice and we didn't come away with points in the second half. Botched snap on the field goal, and then a lot of penalties down there that brought us back with the holding penalties after big plays. And so a lot to correct, but coming on the road against a team that really is gonna have a good season in their conference. And so for us to go on the road and find that winning feeling, we'll take it. But yeah, like you said, I mean, once we got that lead and they tried throwing the football and we let some people go and really eat, they closed out the game physically, just with the passion that you like to see.
Hey, Nick, it's Mike Trude. On the touchdown drive that put you up 2 scores, and the play happened right in front of you when Clark made that block on the inside when Lester took that sweep around the left side for 46 yards down to the 2. What an incredible block to spring him for that yardage. I don't know if you were able to see it. It happened right along your sideline, but What a huge play.
Yeah, we were just in a day one training camp play, just a mid-zone to the left. We swipe back and protect the edge on the field side, and then the receiver's job is to push crack on that thing, MDM. The corners were playing super soft, and he came down and blocked the safety. And then it's hard for defensive backs to crack replace right there. So then the corner's got to come up and fit that. He wasn't in position. LaShawn, I thought he was going to get it over. I couldn't even see, but that was a huge play for us. It definitely was. We needed to go and capitalize. We needed an explosive play. And sometimes you just got to get back to basics, and that's what that was.
At halftime, did you make adjustments in the secondary with how you were trying to contain their wideouts?
Yeah, I think it was just the same thing. I mean, seeing how they were attacking us, I felt like Iverson Brown played a great game. Gave out some game balls. I thought Ben Bogle was a problem. I mean, just the ferociousness that he plays with at linebacker, that's honestly, you just like sitting back and watching him play linebacker. And then Iverson on the back end, I felt like I feel like our maturity and our experience in the back end helped us in that second half of really taking the coaching, understanding the concepts that we're going to come back, and they really played on top of those things on a couple that got away from us in the first half. And so I really feel like the experience with those guys being all 5th and 6th year seniors paid off for us.
Coach, these guys asked me from the field after halftime what the vibe was down there, and I told them, I said, very mature, poised, and, showed some confidence. And then the second half, I think you had a bird's eye view of what you've talked about previously, seeing some growth and some development and learning things about this team, not only just group-wise but individually. There were some guys that contributed that really kind of their first opportunity to have some impact.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like how we closed the first half, obviously getting a turnover on for an explosive play. I mean, we talk about the ways to win football games all the time. The momentum is real in football, and for them to have an explosive play and for us to chase the ball down and pop one out and then us go on a big drive and then cap it off with a touchdown was really a key to this game. I think the maturity of the team has been good, and I feel like we've been tested twice now as far as like what's our response going to be. We obviously didn't get off to a great start here, get on the road and get down. But we just settled in, and we've got a poised team. We've got a veteran team, but I agree with you on as far as I felt like that coming out of BYU too. Like, okay, this kid has proved that he can play in these spots. This is what he does well. I feel like we'll learn a lot off this tape, and that's what we got to do a great job as coaches is then continue to put those guys in those spots. And as we continue to grow this thing schematically and personnel-wise, we'll just keep getting better.
The other side of that too, Coach Hill, is you mentioned team and guys. You were without Dewey Green for most of this game. You lost Colin Bohannock early in this game. You were without Jameer Khan for all of this game. I mean, there was multiple guys that you had to run. Keontae Lewis was out for most of the second half. How does that feel to know, Coach Hill? I know it wasn't the cleanest. You're going to clean that stuff up, but to still know that there was a huge team aspect to this win tonight that you had to rely on a lot of different guys to go out there at different times.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, yeah, Jameer didn't even suit up and play. We'll get him back next week. He would have been a kind of a game-time decision. You know, he hurt his shoulder there on that play at BYU, but got good news as far as the return to play on him. He would have been close. If it was a bit later in the season, he would have played. So, you know, getting him back, but the reps that those guys that had to step up and play a ton of snaps tonight just going to make us better. And then, yeah, Colin Bohannock going out. Des Hearns not playing tonight for a coach's decision. And then, Keontae Lewis, you know, I felt like it was a game that, which I think you'll have here, you know, could have went for 10, 12 catches and, as many explosive plays. We're going to see that out of him, but we've played 2 games and he's only played a half in both games. So we've got to get that corrected. He's got to get that corrected just based on cramps early in the season, but we've got to do everything that we can to make sure that doesn't keep happening.
Coach Hill, we'll get you out of here on this note because we're going to be talking to both Ben Bogle and Sean Lester. We've already talked about Ben. You know, he's going to be a big problem. You've seen a really good camp from Sean Lester. You've seen him develop over the years. What a workhorse he was for you tonight, over 100 yards. I think he ended up with 111 tonight, 6 yards per carry. Just what you expect from him this year and how big he was for your offense there in the second half.
Yeah, I think, he can be that guy. I think he's still young, so I think that, not redshirting and then never being the guy to, carry the load. I think this game he can build off of, knowing, the intensity in which he's got to practice to know that, hey, when these things go into the fourth quarter, when you're a good running football team, those explosive runs come in the fourth quarter. When people are tired, you're breaking tackles. He can be that guy that can break tackles. And then I thought Benefield came, and we got to see a glimpse of him that we probably haven't seen all season as far as camp. And in the first game, where I think he'll gain some confidence. He's battled some injuries, but he put his foot in the ground a few times and saw some of that old JB. So I thought it was a good night for them.
Coach Hill, you got a water? I think you need to take a sip of water and rest that voice for the ride home.
I need a drink.
Coach Hill, appreciate the time. Congratulations. Winning is never easy, especially on the road. And like we told you, especially in this stadium where they had most of their losses were by an average of 4 points. It's been a good team here at this place.
Yeah, no, this is a good little spot here. They got a good thing. They've invested in this place. They're used to winning. Like we talked about on our pregame show, this is a team that, rattled off 9 wins in a row last year, I think. And so there's an expectation here. Anytime winning is tough in college football, and to come on the road and get our first win, we'll get on those buses. It'll be a much better ride home. But we also know tomorrow when we come in the building, we got to get better.
Thanks for the time, Coach. Appreciate it.
Appreciate
Good work,
Congrats,
Coacher.
Nick.
All right, appreciate it.
Once again, I was head coach Nick Hill. His post-game interview is brought to you by the partners of Sam C. Mitchell Law, Lance Brown, and Matthew Caroy, cheering and fighting for Southern Illinois. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we'll be joined by our big dogs of the game, presented by the Big Dog Leadership Society, the Saluki football from Learfield.